go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast, and today I've got a very special guest. His name is Jacob Wasserman. I have permission to call him an e-commerce savant, so don't crucify me. Jacob, how's it going?
Oh man, what an intro. Thanks for having me, Rocco.
So, Wasserman, I thought it was Dutch, but it's either German or it's Jewish. So which side are we falling here?
Oh man, you're spot on. It is Jewish. I am Russian and Polish, and that comes from the Russian side of my family. So you're two for two so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wasserman to me, I thought it was Dutch because I'm straight on, which basically means it's a man who argues and you're dumb. And to me, Wasserman was like, oh, you're a man that washes. So what does Wasserman actually translate into?
Exactly, yeah. So when my family came over to America, God knows how long ago, this is the Russian side of my family, Wasserman directly translates to Wasserman, which is waterman. And my family was the one knocking on doors and just selling water door to door. And
what a segue into e-commerce. Jacob couldn't have done it any better. Look, I wanted to talk to you about COVID, first of all, because people blame COVID for the sort of saying that brick and mortar is dying or is dead. But if you look at charts and you look at rates, it's been dying for a long time. Even before COVID, I think COVID just basically hit the sort of nail into the coffin. So there's a lot of people trying to jump into e-commerce now, but they don't really know how to do it. So I want to know, how did you get into e-commerce? Because, I mean, it's not like 7-year-old Jacob said, I want to grow up. I want to go into e-commerce because you don't even know, like, you know, what it is. And then any tips for like someone that's trying to break into the industry?
No, it's a really great point. So I guess I'll just start with my background. So out of college, you know, my friend Ryan and I, we got into flipping items online. And post-college, you know, if you don't have a reason to really see your friends, you won't. So we said, let's hang out on the weekends, go to some garage sales, estate sales, you know, thrift stores, and basically see if we could find anything cool and flip it online.
Oh,
so, you know,
cool.
So we started like buying off comic books and like vintage Red Bull cans and really heavy typewriters that were a pain to ship.
Oh man, where was Netflix? That would be a cool Netflix series. Just like flip it with Jacob and Ryan or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really what we did every weekend. We should have carried a camera around. But if you're into it, so
I mean, is that still a valid way of breaking into e-commerce?
I mean, when it was pre-COVID, 2017, 18, 19, that's what we did really every weekend. And it was a great way to make money, and it was a great way to just keep the friendship going. Because, I mean, right now we're lucky enough to be working together, but otherwise, I rarely would see my closest friend from college. So, yeah. I mean, if you're looking to break into e-commerce, like I'm not talking about like one of these huge players, but like a regular Joe Schmo like me, who just has experience selling on eBay and Depop and basically Facebook Marketplace.
Yes.
What I would say is to basically find items that have nostalgia attached to it. Like, I think some of the best items we sold had like Apple logos on the merch and Harley Davidson t-shirts and Disney snow globes, things like that. And following that playbook really has played out well for us.
Actually, a very good actionable advice there, because there's a lot of people collecting stuff these days.
Definitely. Yeah. And we're going into a world where everything's getting digitized. So
I'll come to that. I want to come to that later. I just want to speak about what would you say is the biggest challenge facing e-commerce today? Because there's a rise of e-commerce, but I mean, it's not without its challenges.
Definitely. So I think the biggest challenge facing e-commerce is they really have one shot to get it right. Like unless you have a deep commitment to a specific brand, that's usually the case.
Yeah.
And it really sounds daunting, but I can explain what happened to my mom this past weekend, right? So my mom was looking to buy a New York Mets hat for my 7-year-old cousin. And mind you, my mom, she shops on Amazon. She goes on TKTS for a Broadway show. She's an active Yelper. So she knows what she's doing, right? So when she went onto the site to buy this Mets cap, she was so turned off by like the slow loading pages, the long checkout process, that she told me she's never going back to that site again. And she's like a really, really sweet lady, probably the sweetest lady in the world. And so if you get on her nerves, imagine like all the other people who have shorter fuses and who will write them off together, right? So
I'm having this visual in my head. So you go, damn it. What's going on?
Like if that was you, you get right out of here. So if you're an e-commerce player, right, the answer I would have for you is to basically make my mom's experience better, right? So basically, I guess 2 or 3 things right off the top of my head.
That's the slogan if you're ever looking for one. We make Jacob's mom experience better.
Oh man, you do tremendous. So like a clean layout that can be easy to find products, eliminate forcing consumers or my mom to create an account in order to purchase from your site, which is so
amen. What's up with that?
Oh my God, killer. And then just make the checkout process as quick and seamless as possible. So those are really the 3 pillars. Just find the product, make it easy to check out, and don't bother me by creating an account. And then you'll have a really nice, welcoming environment.
That's actually very good advice. Lastly, you talked about the digitization of, and it's weird when you say digitization of e-commerce because it's in its nature digital, but with NFTs and with blockchain coming up, I mean, there are certain future trends here at play that people aren't realizing.
Correct. Yeah. So the future trends that I'm excited about, obviously there's so many things, but like in terms of accepting Bitcoin, like Tesla just did, or integrating AI to make it more personal.
Well, they did. They sort of had to sell. Okay, so Elon had to sell a bit to make this books look good. It's not.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So I'm not the most technical guy. So I think something that I could speak briefly about is the thing I really enjoy is seeing like some of my famous my favorite YouTubers and TikTok people using their audience to get paid.
Mr. Beast.
So, yeah, Mr. Beast with the burgers, the guy on TikTok.
Content.
He has the very ocean spray. So like the biggest problem e-commerce platforms have, in my opinion, is creating content. But you can see that new brands and old brands are capitalizing on that industry. So we could go for the like a legacy brand and a new brand. So like I just spoke about ocean spray cranberry juice. Remember that dude? He was just skateboarding and and they really capitalized on that, and they had a massive bump in sales following that clip. And then on top of that, if you're thinking about like a new e-commerce player like Gymshark, they locked in, I believe, key long-term agreements with influencers, and that netted them like $1 billion valuation. So I'm really excited to see what legacy and fresh faces on the market will do to create content and essentially generate that buzz to get people visiting and becoming lifelong customers.
Yeah, because I think you're right. I think content generation is where it is at. I mean, content generation is king. But another thing that is fascinating me at the moment, and I know you said you're not a techie guy, but it's Facebook going heavily after this VR space. So something is telling me that we're not too far away from like a Ready Player One scenario where you put like goggles on and you go into this multiverse or metaverse or whatever you ever want to call it, and you basically have like a full e-commerce experience online. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. It may sound scary if you're old school. If you're someone, I'll consider us in the same generation. Okay, Rocco.
Yes. Let's go for it. Let's do it.
Someone in our generation, it seems scary, but I think with any new technology is neither good nor bad. It's what people do with it, right? People are also deep fakes, and for someone that's a bit older, that's scary. That, oh my God, I could put your face on somebody else doing any action I want you to do. For someone my generation, that seems, I may be naive, but that sounds really exciting that I could literally put my face on anything and do any action, right? So it's just the that you're going into any new piece of technology that determines the outcome.
I think that's the exciting thing for me is the speed at which we are moving, and all these services give us the tools to basically do it ourselves. Start your own podcast, start your own vlog, go out there, be your own content generation machine, and get paid.
Yeah, I mean, you're rolling out content every day. I see you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you have to. If you're not with the times, then you get left behind. So you have to. Jacob, where can we find you for the people that want to connect with you? I know you're on LinkedIn. I see you every day. Must check out his blurbs every morning. Where else can we find you?
Definitely, yeah. So find me on LinkedIn. The name is Jacob Wasserman, or as Rocco likes to say, Jacob Wasserman. And then I am not active on any other platform. I learned in college that you should really concentrate on one and quote unquote master it, and then you can branch off. So I really just want to get this niche down, grow a following on here, and then jump elsewhere. So that's where you'll strictly and solely find me right now.
Oh, well, that's very good advice. I completely agree with you. Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. To our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.